Welcome to the Business Spotlight podcast. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your host for today's episode. And today on the show, I have Edwin Martin, president of Basys, as my guest. We're going to be learning about his business, his journey to business ownership, best practices, and challenges that he has faced to give you that inside look to what it's like to build and operate a business. Welcome, Edwin. It's so great to meet you. Thanks for being on the show.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, before we dive in to questions, I'd love to share with our audience a little bit about you. So feel free to share a bit about yourself.
Wow. I've been kind of a journeyman. I worked in large organizations in the automotive space, and then was in environmental services for a few years, and then came to this company while I was in kind of a growth mode, and have been running it now as president for a few years. And Grew up in the Dallas area, now live in the Kansas City area. Have two great kids that are one in college and one about to be in college. So kind of getting to the sunset of my career, hopefully. So kind of in the last chapters. So
That is very cool. So now tell me a little bit about Basis. Like how, well, first, what is Basis? I want to learn more about the company and
yeah.
what it provides.
Yeah, so we're a payment processor. We've been around for about 20 years, and really our niche that we fit into is that we deliver innovative payment solutions in basically any industry, but primarily in places that thrive in B2B services and B2B materials. We also work in the healthcare space, and a lot of other distribution and manufacturing spaces. And we kind of have distinct channels that we sell into. We sell through our financial services channel. So banks will partner with us to sell to their merchants and their clients. And then we also sell direct to merchants. And then we sell through software integrations. So we own a payment gateway, which is connects different softwares into the payment ecosystem so that they can run transactions. And we facilitate that through our gateway product.
Okay, well, thank you for setting the stage on that. And when did you say you became part of the company or you joined the team?
2013 is when I joined.
Okay. And what was your position when you first joined?
I ran all of the ops side of the business, so all of the customer experience, customer implementations, customer support, IT, all of our compliance services, and then slowly kind of picked up our product teams. I launched our product team initially when we built out our first gateway, and then moved into taking over HR and finance. And then in 23, I took over the whole company with sales and marketing falling under me as well. So,
Okay, in 2023 you took over.
yep.
Um, how was that experience? Like what led you to that, to being becoming president?
Gosh, I don't know. I drew the short straw. I'm not sure. I've been around a long time, so been around a long time. I know all the facets of the business. My expertise really is around large scale operations, but I also have a lot of expertise in personnel development and organizational change. And so it made sense at the time when we had a transition away from a former chief sales officer that was running the sales and marketing side of the house, and I was kind of next man up and kind of the right fit at the right time. And we have a lot of great sales resources here. Selling is not my expertise, but managing people is. And so it made sense for me to really focus on the strategy side of it. And I do less of the day-to-day sales management and more of the strategy planning and working with those executives to manage the sales and marketing groups.
Okay, now I'd love to learn about your executive team. So what does the structure of your executive team look like right now?
So our founder and CEO kind of sits at the top. He runs multiple different businesses, so he's very involved with what we do on a daily basis, but also does other things as well. And so I manage all the day-to-day operations for him. Then I have a chief technology officer that manages all of our product side. That's our gateway and the products that are integrated into our gateway. And he also runs our IT side of the house. I have a
Hmm.
chief sales officer who manages and runs all of our selling teams. I have a chief marketing officer that manages the marketing group. I have a director of finance that manages all of our business analysts and finance teams and accounting teams. And then I have a director of customer experiences that manages all of our implementation and customer service and support teams.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Now, looking at the like employee side of things too, how many employees are you currently at?
So we're right around 250.
Okay. And what kind of departments? I'd love to learn about some of the departments that the employees are in. Like, what are some of the major facets of the business?
Yeah, so we have a variety of different teams. Each of our sales teams are divided into those different channels. So we have some that are selling direct to clients and businesses. We have those that are selling individual product suites. So we have our QuickBooks integration and our healthcare integration products. And then we have our teams that sell to our partnerships, our banking partnerships, and our software partnerships. That's how our sales is divided up. Marketing is, like a standard marketing department. We have divided into coordinators that coordinate for those different channels. Then we have content and trafficking management on that. Our finance is really divided into business analyst, accounting, and then we have a team that does all of our pricing as well. And then we have IT is divided up into traditional IT, run the building, run your servers, run your systems. And then we have our product side, which actually builds and manages and maintains our products. And then we have our enterprise technology team, and they handle all of the internal business services like CRM and our call center support and things like that, and those technologies. Um, and then on the customer support side, we have it really divided in two segments. We have our implementation teams, and they handle all new customer onboarding. And then we have our support teams, which are divided up in a very kind of traditional support model where you have tier one call center, tier two support, and then tier three that is our retention teams.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of moving parts. How are you structuring your day to day? Like thinking about you as a leader. Are you more working, would you say, in the business or on the business, or is maybe there a mix of both?
Yeah, I probably have, I would say 70% of my time is on the business. I get pulled into stuff every day. I still also do client visits. So we have large clients. I'll go out and with our sales group or with our partner group and meet with large clients. But I do spend a lot of my time on working on the business. What are the systems? What are the initiatives we're going to roll out and change? What are the big strategic things? I'm typically spending about, I don't know, a good 60, 70% of my time 1 to 2 quarters ahead.
Mhm.
And then probably, another 10% of my time on, 1 year ahead. And then, the rest of the time on whatever crisis pops in my office. So,
There's always got to be room for that, right?
yeah.
So looking at the growth you're looking for in the company, where do you see the company going in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, we anticipate doubling in size in the next 4 years. So,
Mm.
we probably won't double our employee footprint. But, from a revenue side, we have a bunch of products that are launching this year and early next year in the healthcare space and in the um, software space. So, the big transition we're making right now as a company is we've always been a payment processor providing payment solutions, ACH, credit, debit, all of those solutions. But we're now really branching off into building real SaaS solutions that are, invoicing solutions or customer management solutions or encryption services and a bunch of other kind of software as a solution products. And so that's where our business is rapidly expanding. So rather than just going out and selling through our traditional channels, we're opening up channels we didn't have in the past.
Mhm.
And so that's where we've got a lot of growth potential right now.
And as you're going into that growth potential with building these new solutions, what has been something that has challenged you with taking on that new feat?
I think one of the things that makes us different in our space in particular is that we like to build tailored solutions. So somebody comes to us with a weird workflow or a weird business flow of how they want to move cash or collect money, and we always say yes. We always say, yeah, let's figure it out. Let's figure out how to make it work. And so when we were small, that served us very well because we need to win every deal we can win. But if you're trying to build 50 custom solutions, it's really hard to stay product focused on what you want your core product to do. So that's been a real challenge for us is finding creative ways and craft, ways to manage all of the desire to build something unique and build something custom for somebody, but also stay focused on building for the future. Balancing those two things can be challenging. So it's like
Mm.
saying around here is that, our superpower is saying yes, and our kryptonite is saying yes. So, we sometimes say yes to too many things. So,
Guilty. I am so guilty of that. And it's so true, especially when you want to keep that kind of that customizable experience and that one-on-one experience with your clients. And so with that challenge, what are some of the solutions you're implementing or would like to implement to help resolve some of those?
yeah, so we've, over the last year gotten very good at understanding saying yes to the right things. So, one of the things that we do on the technology side when we have a new client that wants some kind of integrated or custom solution is we ask ourselves, what's the value to us? What's the real value to the client? And do really, really deep discovery to make sure that we understand, if we think it's going to take 20 hours or 30 hours or 50 hours of build time, that we're really close to that mark. And that we allow people to be dedicated and that we never say no. So that's the thing here. You just never say no to anything, but we can say yes if or yes in this amount of time. And so
Mm,
it's just structuring the yeses in a way that doesn't make you overcommitted and overextended. That's been a real big discipline growth with our teams this year. Is just evaluate effectively, discover properly, estimate the time correctly, and then don't say yes to everything right now. Say yes in the future. So.
mm. That's a golden nugget of this conversation. I think many business owners can take something from, myself included. Just to say, just knowing that the word yes can be a real word to use, but to know when, like structuring out time-wise, that yes,
Yep.
when that yes is going to fall into place.
Also,
Um,
oftentimes, I think what people happen is a client comes to you, and our inclination is to serve the client. That's just everybody here is very service oriented. So, client comes to us and says, "I need X, Y, Z," and our inclination is to go, "Okay, we'll do that." But the follow-up question should be like, yeah, that sounds like something we can do. How urgently do you need this? And just by asking that question, a lot of times you'll find out that, we thought they needed it in 2 weeks, but in reality, they need it 60 days from now. Well, I can make a lot happen in 60 days, but if you don't ask that question, then you overcommitted yourself for no good reason. So you've just got to clarify with clients and just be smart about asking those good follow-up questions. That's something we've gotten a lot of discipline with this year. So.
definitely. Now, as you're going through these different types of projects and timelines on each project, how is it challenging to stay organized with that, or how are you staying organized with all the different moving parts?
Uh, well, our CTO is probably the organization master here. I mean, he's just phenomenal. Our agile development team, the tools that they use, the project management discipline they have is really, really strong.
Mhm.
Um, that's not me. I'm an ideas guy. I'm a problem solver by nature and an ideas guy. But those teams, our CTO, our project groups, even our finance teams, just very, very diligent. Our marketing team is fantastic with using tools like Asana and things like that to keep us on track. So
Mhm.
just good project discipline and making sure you have the right people in those roles. Don't put me in a project management role. I'm the wrong guy for that. But firing people and hiring right so that you go, okay, these are the people that keep us between the goalposts. We still need the creatives and the drivers and the innovators, but we also need the people that kind of keep us between the curbs and knowing what those personality profiles are, hiring for that, and then trusting those people to help keep you in those curbs and stay on track. We've got a lot of investment in that over the last few years, and it's really paid a lot of dividends. We can get more done now with fewer people than ever in our history. And it's because of that discipline to get the right people holding us all accountable to get the projects moved forward in order. That's been a real improvement in what we can accomplish as an organization.
Oh, definitely. Team really is everything. How has that experience been as you've been president, seeing the team grow or and in structuring those ways to bring on those right team members?
So we have a very good hiring process here. We also have a great recruiting team,
Mhm.
and we give lots of feedback around through the whole interview process. And then we do lots of debriefs on if we have exits. So either, we had unfortunately sometimes have to let people go or they choose to leave. We always do retrospectives. What did we miss something? What did we miss? What can we learn? How can we adapt that into the hiring process? We're very, very rigid about that. It's one of those things, kind of like what I was saying earlier. It can be a great strength, but it can also be detrimental too, because it does take a while to get hired here, which can mean when you're growing really fast and you got to hire a bunch of people, it takes a lot of resource. But It just is a thing. If you're in business at all and you're responsible for growing an organization, I would challenge you that if you hire correctly, if that's the only thing you're exceptional at, you'll probably be successful. If you're not good at that, I don't care how good you are at everything else, you will never be successful. You have to hire right, and you have to stay disciplined to that. We filled our building with a ton of smart, capable people, and we put them in the correct roles, and it makes everything else we do so much easier. So.
Now I have a couple follow-up questions on that. So how long, example, is the hiring process for you?
So it usually starts during screening with recruiting. So they're either going to find people and bring them in and get them to apply for the job. So they'll usually have 1 to 2 phone screens. Then they'll come in for in-person interviews with the frontline managers that are hiring for the role. And then they go a level up or two. And some of our more critical roles, that will actually have a third interview. And then like our executive roles, you'll typically interview, 4 to 6 times to get on
Mhm.
board. So, it can take 3 to 6 weeks to get all the way through the interview process with us. As part of that, you'll go through a series of testing as well. We do profile testing with predictive index, cognitive testing. Every role in the company also has a predictive index model. So we have kind of a profile model for everyone. And so then we interview based on whether or not how closely you align with that model. So it's a very, can be an arduous process. So I just had somebody, I do an onboarding training as part of my role for all new hires. They go through an onboarding class with me. And the ones yesterday, I was talking to them about how's the experience been since you came on board. And one of them said, it was really hard to get hired, but then that actually made me feel great because now I know, gosh, if it was this hard to get hired, they must really think highly of me. So that's one of the things that we try to, create. And then when people show up and they work here, the thing that I think surprises people is, you know, the quantity of talent we have here is pretty dense. And so I think people are like, wow, this place is like full of super smart, helpful people. And it makes everybody raise their game. So that model has worked really well for us historically.
That is really interesting. I like to learn about different hiring structures, and that's another golden nugget is you have a pretty locked in structure of how you hire, which ultimately will bring the right people in the doors. My second follow-up question was, how are you like in finding talent right now? Do you feel like the market is like you're finding a lot of great talent, it's very abundant, or do you feel like it's challenging to hire right now?
It's always challenging for us to hire because we're picky. It probably depends on role. I would say service support, implementation, project, finance. I think it's been pretty easy to hire there. Sales has been rough. So we have really had a hard time hiring sales. Um, we're in the Kansas City metro area and we primarily work in office. So we're a hybrid company, but most everybody's here 3 or 4 days a week.
Mhm.
So sales has been tough. I think we just filled a position we had. It was like open 8 months. So that one's tough for us. Is probably one of the harder ones. And then managers, frankly, is another place. Leaders and supervisors have been another place that's been challenging to hire, but it really depends. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Probably have to talk to the recruiters about the about the marketplace. I don't pay that close of attention. I just post the positions and interview when they bring me people. So,
Well, definitely thank you for sharing that. I'm always curious to see where companies are with, with the sales process because it can be daunting and sales itself that is a challenging position and manager. So really, thank you for your transparency. I feel like that's a something many companies struggle with at least at some point in their existence. Yeah, so this has been a great conversation so far. I'd like to dive into our rapid fire questions. And so
okay.
there'll be four of them. So just answer very top of mind. Question number one is, what is the key to success for you?
Ownership and resilience. Take
Definitely.
ownership, be resilient.
Mm-hmm. Question number two is, what is a piece of advice you have for other business owners?
Hmm. Ruthlessly assess your talent, but compassionately coach your people.
Definitely. And number three is what is it could be a book, a podcast, an article, just anything that has impacted you lately.
Hmm. That's a good one. I always go back to an old throwback. If you haven't read Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, I would strongly encourage you to read it. It's a great book. Anything on stoicism or that book in particular, I think it's just a great life help guide. So
Oh, it's a great book. One of my favorites. Number four is if you could wave a magic wand and overnight improve one aspect of business, what would it be?
Wow. I would get rid of the need for compliance.
I love the honesty.
It's
Uh,
the thing I'm worst at. It feels like it generates no value until you do it poorly.
true.
So
Well, thank you for answering those rapid fires. That was fun. So for the next question is, how can people connect with your company online?
go to our website's the best way, basispro.com. I'm also on LinkedIn if you want to get to me directly. Edwin Martin, you can track me down. But
Mhm.
basispro.com, that's where everything is. We have leadership blogs on there. You can learn about the company. We have culture videos to see about the company. All our products and links to our services and products and our teams is all on there. That's the best place to find us.
Wonderful. Thank you. And for our final question today, Edwin, what is most inspiring to you today?
Seeing our people work. I mean, our people out here just absolutely work so hard and when they're not asked to, which I think is the impressive part. It's easy to try and incentivize or hound people into working hard, but here, I mean, people, I walk into a meeting a lot of times and I feel like, I have to up my game because they're working so hard, and they're trying so hard and they're providing so much insight. So it challenges me every day and it inspires me to get better because they are so good and they do work so hard. So I would say that inspires me every day.
Oh, well, thank you for that. This has been a great conversation. Thanks for sharing. I'm excited to share this with our audience, and thanks for being here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. It's great.